Hello, my fellow TikTokers. I want to comment on my experience over the 4 days of the DNC, Democratic National Convention, held in Chicago, Illinois. I loved it, and I found it to be almost heartrending because little did we realize in our day-to-day lives that we had been affected by what looked like an inevitable Trump re-election. And that would have been very hard on everybody in this country, especially women, children, the military, the government bureaucracies, and the entities in the government that help preserve our climate and that sort of thing. All of this would have been totally disrupted. You can see that yourself in Project 2025. I have made several videos on that over the last few days on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Kate Loving Shank. And I think you can even get there by @DearBoomers. Now, the culminating event at these 4 days was Kamala Harris's speech, which was one of the most powerful speeches of my lifetime, of my entire lifetime. I've been interested in politics my entire life, which is why I have made a slight divergent path towards talking about politics in my YouTube videos and in general, like TikTok and all that. What has occurred to me is I stopped paying attention to politics because and helping to strengthen our democracy because of the cruelty of Donald Trump towards anything and everybody who didn't agree with him. So anyway, now my life has changed in a way that I feel like every day I should at least pay some attention to strengthening our democracy, whether it be going on retweeting things on X, or whether it be an occasional video that I make on YouTube about this situation. One thing that I commented on this week was Bandy Lee's assessment of Donald Trump's pathology and how it has dictated our general fear and malaise in this country. According to her, Trump is a public health menace. He is a public health contagion. Trump himself is a contagion. And she has written a book about this, and at least 4 or 5 years ago, she went on Democracy Now! and talked about the pathology of Donald Trump. She is a forensic psychiatrist, and in her knowledge, she's able to pretty much diagnose Trump, but the American Psychiatric Association put a foot down on that because they said, and you might be familiar with this, that you can't diagnose a person unless you have examined them personally. Well, that's impossible. That would have been impossible. So she was pretty much censored in her great insights about the pathology of Donald Trump and his followers, but mainly Donald Trump, and his family. But let us just say that it's easy to be in a state of denial about this impending doom that we were all feeling. And it was very apparent that Joe Biden, as much as I love Joe Biden, I really do. It took me many years to come to this because he's evolved. Joe Biden has evolved. Trump, after the debate with Biden, thought that this was going to be an easy path to his victory, and indeed, Biden was falling down in the polls. And it looked very much like Trump was going to win, and he became more and more of a bully towards Biden in a very ugly way. It was so painful. I even tuned out even more. I didn't want to read it. But the day that Joe Biden dropped out was July the 21st, 2024, and 20 minutes later, he endorsed Kamala, was one of the most exciting days of our lives in terms of the women I knew, my family, my sister-in-law, my sister-in-laws, and even people who all really knew the dangers of Donald Trump, Republican or not, independent or not, libertarian or not, because a true libertarian would not go for taking away women's rights like that. And also, it's not just women's rights. It has to do with taking away voter suppression, making Trump a dictator on day one. And even though he has backed away from any knowledge of Project 2025, well, he lies about everything else. I don't imagine he's not lying about this. I mean, I have no question that he has his fingerprints all over Project 2025. So Kamala came on the scene, and within 1 month, she gave that speech last night. 1 month and 1 day. She gave that speech last night in the most powerful presidential way. And so many times when we see these speeches, foreign policy is something that is addressed in some sort of patriarchal way. And there's nothing well, I was raised to distrust the American foreign policy. And so it's a real turnaround for me to understand that we need to be strong with our foreign policy. And she was so strong, and at the end of her speech about foreign policy, she touched on that. She touched on, I mean, she couldn't really go into great detail about how she was going to carry this stuff out, because she will do that in the days to come. But the way she hit on Trump was really very powerful. She is the prosecutor and he is the convict. And for those of you out there who don't believe in that January 6th happened, that the real coup is not Joe Biden stepping down. He did that on his own. The real coup is the insurrection on January 6th to our Capitol, January 6, 2021. And I can't just continue to make videos that don't address these things. I feel like I should be a part of this solution and not just airy-fairy kind of stuff, which I do believe in. And what is so amazing is that now, politics has always been so dysfunctional, and so you develop your inner life as apart from the thinking of the world, which is often reflected in politics. And in this situation, the thinking of the world as we see it in politics is changing right before our eyes. And as Dr. Arlene says on this TikTok, Dr. Arlene is somebody people should definitely follow. She says this is the age of Aquarius. Absolutely the age of Aquarius. When we were being hippies in the 1960s and 70s, the age of Aquarius was something we were talking about, and now we are realizing. That was a while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And here we are. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. And so like I said, I'm going to spend a few minutes a day trying to become involved in our democracy. And I even bought, it's never been, the flag has never been something that the Democratic Party has been interested in. And they were waving flags last night. We have to reclaim some of these things, like the American flag. Patriotism was very much a part of the conversation in the last 4 days of the Democratic National Convention. And there's so much fun. And people were just having a blast. I also recommend MidasTouch.com on YouTube. It's fastly approaching the most favored news organization over any of the cable news networks, because they are honest and we love them. And I love you, everybody. I'm so happy to be alive in this day and age. It is a very powerful time to be alive. Love to all.